Thank you very much. I'm really delighted to be here, and thank you for those most inspiring words from our introductory speakers who really set the stage for this important convergence topic. I'd like to first introduce our panelists, Julie Thompson-Klein and David Rosner, who are both here. Unfortunately, the other two members of the panel who you'll see are not able to be with us due to emergency problems that arose, but both of the other speakers will touch on the topics that they were going to speak about. The purpose of this session, as you will see, is to begin to get informed about the research information out there that helps us to understand how we can work more efficiently and more successfully in this space of convergence, team science, and interdisciplinary, transdisciplinary work. I will say that from my perspective, I come to this really as a practitioner. I am a cardiologist trying to improve the care of heart transplant recipients, and in order to do that for many years, I've realized that I must be working in this transdisciplinary space, which I've now learned is really called conversion, or has something to do with conversion. I've been fortunate to be the recipient of 2 large NIH grants, and I really think that had I known more about this convergence field, we would have been even more successful than we had been. And secondly, I'm coming to it as my role as the Senior Associate Dean for Faculty Development and Diversity. And in that space, I've been developing programs to help our faculty become more efficient as they work across transdisciplinary teams. And it was through that I became involved in this work here, and also serving as a member on the National Academy's panel on the science of team science. So in order to put this in context, I thought I might tell you a little bit about what that work is that we're doing on that particular committee, which was started its work in September 2012, and hope that we will have a report out for you in 2014 on the whole issue of the science of team science and how we can be more effective. And that study, the rationale behind it was to the clear need to provide research-based guidance to improve processes and outcomes. And I really resonate with that. As a cardiologist, we talk a lot about evidence-based work in order to treat our patients. You can see who the sponsors are, and the goal really was to enhance the effectiveness of collaborative research in science teams, science research centers, and institutes. And our audiences are NSF and other private research institutions, the entire research scientific community, universities, etc. Here's our committee charge. That was that an ad hoc committee would conduct a consensus study on the science of team science. And we hope that from that will come recommendations, the opportunities to enhance the effectiveness of collaborative research in science teams. Our second charge to the committee was to consider the factors that affect the large and small teams. And as you heard throughout, or what has already been talked about, there is a spectrum of science and science teams going on here that might affect team dynamics, team management, and institutional structures and policies. So in order to address that charge, the committee is asking a number of questions. First, how do individual factors such as openness to divergent ideas influence team dynamics, and how in turn do both individual and team dynamics influence the effectiveness and productivity of the science teams. The second question being addressed is what the factors are at the team center and institutional level. We're approaching this from a systems approach to determine what are the factors at each of those levels that influence effectiveness. And the third question is, how do management approaches and leadership styles influence the effectiveness of science teams? The approaches and how work is established and how work gets done, the division of labor, and in a sense, the culture within those teams. How can they be understood, manipulated, so that the work that gets done is more rapidly translated to effective cures, to effective teams, to products? The fourth question was, how do the current tenure and promotion policies acknowledge and provide incentives for academic research? Key topic. This will be covered in depth, and I would say that's one of the major cultural barriers that that exist in this space. Fifth was the factors that influence the productivity and the effectiveness of research in organizations that conduct and support teams, and how do such organizational factors such as human resources, resource policies, and cyber structure, and how do those all affect team and collaborative science? And then finally, what are the types of organizational structures and policies and practices that are needed to promote effective team science that we are all about? And here is a timeline. As you can see, we're halfway through the work. Our next meeting would be in October, where the workshop will come together again to think in more depth about what we are doing, how we are addressing the charge, and with the plan for a final publication to be out there by November 2014. And here's our website. If you're interested to be in this, I urge you to take a look at that.